Good morning and welcome to the Oasis Center for Spiritual Living, where we come together as one, providing spiritual tools for daily living. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Reverend Tucker. I am the senior minister here at the Oasis, and I have this wonderful team that God has provided me that I like to introduce every time. Let's start with Faith. Faith was born in my congregation, so she's basically been my assistant since the day she was born. I used to put her on the podium when I would do announcements, and she'd do announcements with me. And later on, she and her sister would pass out affirmation cards like an usher at the end. But about 5 years ago, she became my official assistant, both in the church and in my other business. So she's the one behind the scenes that does everything. I just talk. That's all I have to do is talk. And she takes care of everything else. I'm very good at multitasking, except I'm not good at talking and multitasking. I don't know what happens, but I get sidetracked and it's like, you know. So anyway, so when you say hi, good morning, hello, however you want to greet us, Faith is the one that answers you. And then I go back later and just verify that there isn't something I need to add. But she knows me better than I know myself. She grew up like 6 blocks away from my house and spent some time at my house as a young girl. So she knows me pretty well. And usually there's nothing that I needed to add. So, then Joyce commented on something. I don't know what it was. Wasn't me. And she is our soloist. So today we're going to be doing Your Wish is My Command by Elaine Silver. We've been doing a lot of Elaine Silver stuff, Reverend Fairy Elaine Silver. And I'll introduce them in just a minute. But so thank you, Faith, for being here. I couldn't do this without you. I love you. And then there's my partner in crime, who was my first baby practitioner, actually. Meaning he took all of his training with me, and then he was my board president for many years. And then he decided to go off and move to Florida and then Alaska for a short time. I mean, you know, but we lost him in our service, and unfortunately, but now he's back with us because the software allows us to invite him in. So I'm so glad to have him back with us. He is the practitioner of the day. So he prays us in and prays us out. And he's available at the end for our 1-minute miracle. And I'll talk more about that later. Thank you for being here, Oz. We really appreciate you. Love you too. All right. And as I said, we have this adjunct music team that I always like to give credit to because they don't appear on screen, but Reverend Fairy Elaine Silver, as she was going through practitioner training, wrote a bunch of songs, and I had bought all of her CDs, but she gave us permission to use her music, so we really appreciate that. And matter of fact, she's pushing us and would like us to do more. And so if you tune in, Elaine, we did your music all last month, and we did the Back to Basics series, and we always use your music for that. And today we're going to be using one of your songs. So we do use your music. And then the other one is Karen Drucker, who has been the music director for like 3 different religious science churches. And she has gifted us with her entire collection. So we really appreciate you, Karen. Thank you so much. All right. And Tina Giuffre, Albertina Giuffre, who appears from time to time. That's our music team. So we're really blessed to have a great team. God has provided us such a blessing in so many people. All right. So say hi, good morning, hello, however you'd like to greet us. When we're in a facility, I can look out and see who's here. I don't have that ability with this software, so I really appreciate it. I know there's 1,000 things you could be doing on a Sunday morning. We're really blessed to have you with us. All right. And there's a watch party button, which is a great way for you to invite your friends to attend the service. They get to know what kind of service they will experience, and it gives you an opportunity to talk back and forth with them without bothering anybody. So hit that watch party button and invite all of your friends. All right. I invite you now to close your eyes if that feels comfortable. Allow the service to uplift and inspire you as we move into our centering song.
Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can feel the rush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place. Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can feel the rush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place.
The presence of God right here, right now. For we, in our theories, espouse the idea that God is permanent, that God is everywhere, that God is omnipotent, that God is all-powerful and for all time. Following that concept, we know that God must be right here, right now, where you are, where I am, where each of us is, and in every event of our lives. The presence of God, all-powerful through all circumstances. And as we come to that awareness, we know that we are upheld and blessed by God's presence in every moment of our lives. And we can allow that to work forth perfectly and manifest into the perfect life, each and every moment, each and every situation, for all time. We know this is a good thing. And I'm grateful that this good thing extends through all of our lives. I know this is good and very good, and I give thanks that it's so. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Oz. All right. This next song is one of Reverend Fairy Lane Silver's that she wrote while she was in practitioner training. We are all one. It's a great reminder that we are all connected by it, through it, as it. So if you know the words, sing it loud and sing it proud. And if you don't know the words, learn them. It's a great way to remind yourself just how connected we all are.
We are all one. We are all one. We are all one in it. I hear it and know it, my being. Spirit is all I am seeing. For God is all there is. Grateful am I to be living, open to what I receive, honoring what I've been given, sharing now what I believe. I remember the oneness around me. I surrender to infinite light, knowing the love that's surrounding me is within me by day and night. And we are all one. We are all one. We are all one in it. Yes, we are all one. We are all one. We are all one in it.
We are all one in it. So when I'm in a facility, I can look out and see people and I see shining faces. I don't have that ability with this software. So we ask that you say hi, hello, good morning, however you want to greet us. If you like something that I say or Oz prays or that Faith sings, for example, use that thumbs up button. Let us know that you like it. And if you love it, please send us hearts. We love to get love. And if something strikes you as powerful, it's great feedback for us. If you'll use the wow button, then we know we're on target. We always live for that feedback because it's important. It lets us know when we are on track. All right, without further ado, here is Faith singing a Reverend Fairy Elaine Silver song, Your Wish is My Command.
Thank you. I love it when we synchronize. It's just so perfect of how our brains work. Your wish is my command, proclaims the Spirit now. Your wish is my command, whatever you allow. Your wish is my command, proclaims the universe. Your wish is my command, to make it heaven here on earth. Asking and believing, open to receiving. My wish is God's command. It's been the way since time began. Your wish is my command, proclaims the Spirit now. Your wish is my command, whatever you allow. Your wish is my command, the Spirit straight to me. Your wish is my command, to create your destiny. Manifesting moments, here are the real components. Your wish is God's command. It's been that way since time began. It's been that way since time began. Beauty of creation is a cause for celebration. Your wish is God's command. It's been that way since time began. Your wish is God's command. It's been that way since time began. Open to receiving. Your wish is my command. It's been the way since time began. Your wish is God's command. It's been that way since time began. It's been that way since time began. Your wish is God's command. It's been that way since time
Thank you so much, Faith. I love that song. I always see this magic carpet floating, you know?
Yeah, her songs are so, like, it reminds me of, like, fairy garden, like, feelings,
Exactly.
like Renaissance music. So I get a little lost in it sometimes, which is normally after the musical interlude. I'm like, oh, wait, yeah, I'll come back to earth.
I know, right? Well, you know, one of her CDs is Fairy something or other. Fairy, I don't know. What CD is that from? Do you remember?
That is from Blissful Abundance.
Blissful Abundance. Yeah. So later on, I'll announce how you can get her music, but that one's a good one. I really like that one. Thank you so much, Faith.
Thank you.
All right. So, you know, we've been talking about manifestation for the last few weeks. Actually, a little over a month. We've been talking about manifestation. Before we did the Back to Basics series, we were on, you know, like the different topics of manifestation. And of course, when I talked about the Back to Basics, what we're really talking about is the process of manifestation. But one topic we don't always completely cover is not to give up 5 minutes before the miracle. Now, the name of it, the title of this sermon, actually came from a T-shirt that one of my past practitioners who made her transition, gosh, it's been over 20 years ago. She had this T-shirt from Iyanla Vanzant that said, don't give up 5 minutes before the miracle. And I was struck by that T-shirt. So Jan, if you're watching from wherever, this is for you, baby. All right. And there's, many stories that inspire all of this too. One I just watched the other night, but the original one that inspired this sermon was it was a movie called The Rookie. And it was a true story about a guy named Jim Morris, who was a high school baseball star who threw his shoulder out and could no longer play baseball. So he became a coach for high school, and he was teaching chemistry, and he was making fairly good money. Teachers don't get rich by any means, but he was making fairly good money and supporting his family. And, there's a lot of those stories out there, but he was giving his team a pep talk as the coach, and he starts telling them that dreams are what life is all about, and you owe it to yourself to follow your dreams. So they make a deal with him. Okay, coach, if we win the playoffs, that means you have to try out for the minors. And he's like, yeah, okay, thinking they're probably not going to win the playoffs. He's telling them you can do this, but in his mind, he's thinking, yeah, that's not really going to happen. Well, they won. And it inspired him so much that they won the playoffs, and he knew that he had to go through with the deal. So he auditions for the minors and he gets in. And he spends his season out there playing ball. Now, he's making good money as a chemistry teacher and a coach. And in the minors, he's making like $600 a month. He starts thinking to himself, man, is this even worth it? So he says to his agent, you really think this is going to happen? Do you think I'm really going to get to the majors at all? And the agent says, I don't really know what to say to you about that. I can't predict the future. I don't know what's going to happen. So he says, well, I think I'm going to go home. His agent says, you only have 2 weeks left. Stay the 2 weeks. You never know what could happen in those 2 weeks. And he says, no, I think I want to go home. I miss my family. I want to be with my family. I miss my wife. I miss my kids. And I just don't want to do this. So he calls his wife and he says, I'm coming home. And she says, I don't think you want to do that. And he said, yeah, I do. She says, you only have 2 weeks left. Stay, finish it out. He says, no, I miss you guys. I want to come home. I'm done. I'm only making $600 a month. I don't really think I'm going anywhere with this. So I'm thinking I'm just going to come on home. And she says, fine. As long as you come home for the right reason. Don't come home because you're giving up. Come home because you really want to be here. But don't come back because you're giving up. So he goes to the baseball park and he's sitting there and he's watching these kids play, and he realizes that he made a promise to the kids that he coached. And he felt like if he went home at that point, he'd be letting them down. So he decided, okay, I'll stay for those 2 weeks. It's not that big of a deal. I can make it 2 more weeks. I've been gone 3 or 4 months. And there was a scout from the majors at the next game of the minors, and he played the best game of his life. And he got into the majors that day. If he had gone home when he said he was going to go home, if he'd given up, he would not be in the majors. He went on to have a very successful career with the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. So many of us give up 5 minutes before the miracle happens, and then we say this doesn't work. Well, how do you know? Because you didn't stick it out. It's so easy to give up. It's so easy to say, oh, it's been 5 minutes. Where's my miracle? It hasn't happened. Okay, it's not going to happen. And a lot of people that I've known have decided that God doesn't exist because their miracle didn't happen in the time frame that they wanted it to. And as I talked about a few weeks ago with manifestation, just because you're not seeing it in the physical realm yet doesn't mean that the universe isn't working on it for you, because God's answer to us is always yes. Our wish is God's command. And so it's really true that, what we want, what we really want, deep in our hearts, what we really want is being worked on by the universe the moment we accept that. And the trick is to trust in that, to have faith in that, to know that it's going to happen, whether we think it's possible or not, or probable or not. I used to say all the time, in God, all things are possible. I still say it, but I mean, there was someone in particular that I had to talk to about that all the time. But in God, all things are possible. And So if I'm knowing that, if I have faith in that, if I believe that all things are possible, then I'm willing to wait it out. I'm not going to give in or give up like 5 minutes before it's going to happen. How many times have you done that? You might say it's just a way of keeping hope alive, and we get tired, don't we? I know I do. But I've seen miracles happen just about the time we can't take it anymore. It's amazing. It's like I sit there and I think, oh, God, I just can't do one more day. Well, I guess I can do one more day. And then the miracle happens, and I'm thinking, oh, okay, I can do this. The idea is to visualize, affirm, treat, meditate, journal until it manifests, no matter what it looks like. Dr. Holmes says, even when it doesn't look like the science of mind is working, it is working. So we work on our belief systems and we replace those negative beliefs with positive ones, and we keep the vision in place no matter what. And getting back to what Jim Morris said to the kids he was coaching, dreams are what life's about, and you owe it to yourself to follow your dreams. Now, I'm not talking about daydreams, please understand. I'm not talking about when we sit and say, gee, it would be nice to do that someday. Or those kinds of dreams that are like, yeah, I don't think it would ever happen, but I sure would like it if it did. I'm not talking about those dreams. I'm talking about the dream that is an urge within you for something greater. I did a series once about creating the life we want, creating with our mind and affirming with our heart, and making sure our heart and mind were in absolute alignment with the life we were pursuing. What your heart is longing for you to do is the kind of dreams we're talking about. And those are the dreams that life is all about. And we owe it to ourselves to follow those dreams. It doesn't mean that you run out and make things happen. Like I used to be really bad about that. I'm not bad anymore. I'm willing to allow instead. But there was a day when I really wanted to make things happen, and I did everything in my power to make them happen. And you know what's funny is they never did, because I was so busy controlling God or trying to control God. I was so busy trying to force things into place that they didn't have a chance to manifest. Because every time I made a step to coerce or a step to force something to happen, it was from a place of lack. And so it was telling the universe once again, I don't have that, right? That's not in my life. So one of the major things about manifestation is to be in that place where you know it's going to happen. You just have this feeling inside, this alignment inside. This next story is the other night. I just can't even believe it. There are times when I'm like rethinking the whole sermon and trying to figure out what I'm going to do. And up pops this movie. And the movie was called Happy Gilmore with Adam Sandler. How many of you seen that? I know it's a stupid movie, but it popped up and I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll just watch it or I'll listen to it while I'm doing whatever. And this one scene caught my attention. And from that point, I was riveted to the screen. And that was his coach. So for those of you who don't know the story, Happy Gilmore was a not very successful hockey player. But he had this great arm for golf. Like he could hit further than that anyone else had ever seen. And so this this golf coach approaches him and says, I want to train you. And Happy Gilmore's grandmother didn't pay taxes on her house, and his grandfather built that house, and they were going to take it away, and he needed $275,000 in order to save the house. And so the coach is telling him, let's take 6 months. We'll get you. Well, first he couldn't convince him to be a golfer. That was the first thing. He was like, oh, you have a great arm. We could do this. And Happy's like, no, I'm a hockey player. I don't want to do golf. And he starts to drive off, and the guy goes, okay, well, I don't know if you can make as much money at soccer as you can with golf. And all of a sudden, Happy's like, what kind of money can I make? So that inspired him, because he thought, oh, I could save my grandmother's house. She moved into a nursing home where they were not very good to her. And so he goes to do this one tournament, which is going to get him into the championship or World Cup or whatever it was. And the coach, he's really great with his long drive. He can shoot further than anybody, but the putts, he's one of those power hitters. And so when he goes to putt, he just can't do it. So the coach is working with him, and he's like, okay, he goes, well, let me work with you for 6 months. And Happy goes, no, I don't have 6 months. I have to go now. And finally he talks the coach into training him, even though he isn't willing to wait the 6 months. So they get out there, and he's doing miniature golf. I don't know of any of you that have played miniature golf. I can't play it. I don't do well with it. And it annoys me because I can't do it. And it annoyed him too. He had quite a temper, and he was like beating down all the buildings that you're supposed to hit the ball into and whatever, because he couldn't hit that putt. And so his coach says to him, and this is the point at which all of a sudden my attention was riveted. His coach said to him, go to your happy place, because that's the place that this is going to happen. And I started thinking about Abraham, and how Abraham Hicks is always talking about that we need to be in the vortex in order to manifest. And I thought, that's the happy place. That is absolutely the happy place. Because Abraham Hicks always talks about how you have to feel happy and joyful and be in that state of gratitude in order for you to attract to yourself that which you desire. So his happy place obviously is this woman in lingerie serving him beer, and his grandmother playing slots and winning lots of money. And he gets into that happy place, and all of a sudden he putts, and he's able to make it. And so I watched the rest of the movie, just riveted to it, forgot all about my sermon, at least the writing part of it. And all of a sudden I began to see a theme here, because he almost gave up. Someone hit him with a car. This other guy had somebody hit him with a car, and he was hurt and he couldn't play. And so he was still playing, but he was playing hurt, and he wasn't doing very well because he couldn't hit the long ones anymore. And he started to give up. He started to say, I can't do this. And then he realized that he couldn't save his grandmother's house if he gave up. So he was determined to actually win. And he did win. Eventually he did win. But it was that determination. It was that not a willingness to give up, because he had something that he was working towards. He had a goal in mind, and he wasn't willing to give up that goal because it meant so much to him that his grandmother could stay in the house that his grandfather had built. And so, and he's a driver like I am. We took these assessments, and the personality assessments, and I'm a driver. That means I really want things to happen. So I'm out there, woof, woof, grunt, grunt, trying to make them happen. And that's really kind of how he went about it. It wasn't like he just allowed it, but he didn't give up. And because he didn't give up, he got everything he wanted. He got the girl, he got his grandmother's house, he got the trophy, he got the gold jacket, which everybody was like wanting. He got it all. And that was because he didn't give up within, 5 minutes before the miracle happened. And so I want us to be inspired by these two stories, because truly those are stories that benefit us in our ability to hang out and just know that God's answer is always yes, that we will make it to that goal. Now, here's the thing. Some people, well, a lot of us, when we're doing our manifestation, focus on a specific thing rather than the feeling that we're trying to have. So like we get focused on a certain person, or we get focused on a certain job, or we get focused on a certain way, that like winning the lottery, for example, or we get focused on a specific protocol or some doctor. And what happens is we might manifest that, but it may not be the answer to what it is we really want. Because what the heart desires is totally different than what we think we desire. The head has this idea, the head has this particular thing, that particular thing. The heart wants to feel specific things. So instead of focusing on a specific person, we open our heart and we are willing to receive the love, and we manifest, we do our manifestation. We use all of our manifestation tools to put ourselves in a feeling of being loved, right? Or instead of focusing on a certain job, we focus on what it is we want to feel. I want to feel loved. I want to feel inspired. I want to feel supported. I want to feel appreciated. I want to feel respected. So we begin to do our manifestation on being in the perfect position where we are loved, honored, respected, valued, and supported, right? And that's going to create either a new job, or it's going to make the job we have conform to those specifications. You see what I'm saying? Not that we can't influence anybody else. So it's not like I can do manifestation to, I can't manifest your behavior to be different than it is. There are some people out there who talk about the law of assumption. I talked about this a few weeks ago. All over TikTok is this law of assumption from Neville Goddard. And I believe in the law of assumption, but I also believe that people have free will. And so I know that I can't force another person to change their behavior towards me. So the law of assumption is basically, the law of assumption says that if I assume it is true, it is. That's, in a nutshell. And so if I assume that it is true, that I experience love or being loved or being valued or being accepted or whatever else, if I assume that that is true, it will be true. If I assume another person is treating me that way, I don't believe that works. It may work if they are willing, if they want to change their behavior, it could work. But there's no way of forcing that. There's no way of doing the law of assumption until it happens. Because again, they have free will, and you don't know what they want. They may want something totally different than you do. And so it's not like I can go into an environment and change people's actions or behaviors. I can go into an environment where, take a church, for example, if I walked into a church that was already existing and the people were treating me as I've seen other ministers be treated when they walked into churches, some of them just go along with it. There's a theory out there that a church has a patriarch and a matriarch that's really in charge of the church, and usually they're on the board. Sometimes not. Sometimes they're the biggest donors. And they pretty much treat the minister as a servant. Now, a minister is the servant to the Lord, a servant to God. But a minister is not a servant to a particular person. And so I've seen this happen time and time again. And I've seen ministers who've just gone along with it until they burn out and have to leave. And I've seen ministers fight it and get fired. But the thing is that if you were to manifest an environment where you were loved, honored, cherished, and supported, either those people would leave and be replaced with people who do honor and cherish you, or another job would pop up, another church would pop up for you. So I've seen that happen so many times. And again, you have to just wait it out and just know that it's going to happen. Have faith that it's going to happen. I've seen people one person go on a diet and lose weight, and I've seen another person go on that same diet and not. And what I can tell you about that is it's all about the space inside of us. Like, if I'm ready to release that weight, then whatever I do is going to work. Now, there are some things that I think are easier and work for me. May not work for everybody. I like the HCG diet. Even though I have a phobia of needles, I'm willing to take that needle 40 days. because I do this. Lynn does the injections and I just do this. But but the thing is that it doesn't work for everybody. Not everybody would lose the significant amount of weight that I lost on the HCG diet. And it really boils down to, where are you in your consciousness? Where are you in your vibration? Are you vibrating with, are you in alignment with the vibration of a thin body or a perfect body, or however you want to do that? You see, we have the divine blueprint of God. So everybody is perfect. Every body is perfect. Everybody's perfect too. But if we're vibrating at the frequency of lack, in other words, I'm overweight, I'm fat, I don't like myself, I don't like my body, I don't know. If we're vibrating at that frequency, no diet in the world is going to work for us. But if we are manifesting our own perfect body, meaning we know what weight is good for our body, because we feel it inside. That's the thing. People think that it's all about actions out here, and it has nothing to do with actions out here. It has everything to do with that alignment of what we're feeling, what we know we want to experience inside. And if I want to experience that I am healthy and happy, and I have a body that I enjoy, if we're coming from that experience, we can't help but manifest that. And again, waiting for that perfect moment where that miracle happens and not giving up 5 minutes before it happens. So those are all examples of how you just wait 5 minutes and, keep waiting until it happens. Don't give up 5 minutes before it happens. My miracle tree out there, my stick tree that I've talked about before, I planted it it's got to be 14 years now, 12 or 14 years. I know I planted it when we still had a facility. That was 10 years ago. Anyway, it flowered again. Well, it bloomed this year. It budded this year. There's buds on the tree. We're waiting to see if they'll open. With the weather going back and forth, who knows? And it's only blossomed 3 times in all these years. But I literally bought this stick. I mean, it was just a stick with a little ball on the end of it, and we put it in the ground. I'd say, sure, Royal Empress tree. It's supposed to have these little purple bunches of little purple flowers. I have never seen them yet. Both times that it actually flowered, I was in Florida. And it just budded a few weeks ago. So I don't know if we'll get any blossoms this year or not. I sure would like to see them. I mean, they're supposed to be marvelous. But I've never given up on that tree. It was supposed to grow 18 feet a year, but that's in the South. And so we've cut it down a couple of times, and it doesn't really grow 18 feet. And then it's shot. So they're from China, and they're supposed to be sterile because they grow like weeds in China. And there's entire forests of them. They use them for the dowry for the Chinese girls. And because it's hardwood. And so they make the dowry chest out of that wood. And so it's a very prized tree in China. Excuse me. But in order to bring them to the US, they had to be sterilized. Well, what's interesting is mine grew another tree. So either the sterilization process didn't work or they've adapted. I'm not even sure how that happened. But that tree is almost as big as the original tree. And it's on the other side of my garden. It's really kind of funny. We laugh about it. Because it was not supposed to be able to propagate at all. And so maybe that tree will grow flowers. I don't know. It's hard to say what's going to happen with that. But what's important about that is that no matter how long it's taken this plant to do something, I never give up on it. I always know that eventually I will see those darn flowers. And like I said, it flowered 3 times now. And I wish I had seen it. But I'm also knowing that I'm going to be able to see it. That's part of my manifestation, is not only will it flower, but I'll get to see the flowers. Oh, goodness. So again, don't give up 5 minutes before the miracle happens, because it's usually when we start to get real antsy and we want to give up. That's usually the point of power. That's usually the point at which it's just about to meet the threshold to be able to come into physical reality. And we're feeling that dynamic tension because the universe is in the background working for us. God's in the background working for us and pulling it forth, right? And we feel that dynamic tension and we think it's frustration and we think it's like, oh, I should just give up. But no, don't give up, because that's the point of power right there. If you make it past that, you will likely see the miracle. And a lot of times we don't see the miracle because we've given up too soon. And again, what happens is if I'm in my happy place, just like Happy Gilmore, if I'm in my happy place and I'm doing my manifestation work from my happy place, then the universe has very good instructions on what to create for me and how to create it. If I jump out of my happy place and I keep thinking about it, then what begins to happen is I'm giving mixed messages to the universe. I'm giving mixed messages to God. I say universe and God interchangeably, because there are some people who the word God has a negative charge for. And so I don't care if you call it Allah or God or Great Spirit or universe, whatever word is comfortable for you. But it's the same power, the same presence, the same divine intelligence, regardless of what we call it, that is working behind the scenes for us, through us, you see. And so the idea that Abraham Hicks says is you must remain in the vortex as much as possible so that you are like a receiving beacon for receiving that good. And if you jump out of the vortex and still think about it, then you've uncreated what you created. And that's pretty much what I'm saying here, is that as long as you're in the feeling of the happy place, whatever that happy place is, it doesn't actually have to be a place or people. It could be just, like I'm really big on the ocean. So, my happy place is on a beach somewhere, usually in Florida, where I can hear the sounds of the waves and I can feel the breeze of the ocean and I can hear and see and feel the negative ions that are happening. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's just, that's my happy place. Some people go up into the mountains for that same feeling. I'm not one that likes to go up and watch the colors of the trees in the fall. I look out in my yard and I have orange, purple, and red. So I don't even need to go up to see the aspens change, right? Also, the mountains is not my happy place. Try as I might, being a native of Denver, you would think that my happy place would be the mountains, but it's not. My happy place is just at the beach. And no matter where that beach is, Sarasota is absolutely my favorite beach on the planet. It's like powdered sugar. The sand is like powdered sugar. It's a long walk from the parking lot, though. That is like one of the longest walks I've ever taken to get to a beach. Although Costa Rica was pretty long, wasn't it, Faith? We had to walk quite a ways to get to the edge of the water. And I've been to a lot of beaches in my life. And that seems to be where I'm the most happy. That's the place where if I'm in meditation and I want to go to my happy place, it's the beach. So you stay in your happy place as long as possible. I like to visualize that I'm in my happy place before I start any visualizations, treatments, meditation, anything like that, because that gets me into that state where I am in a positive vibration, tuned to whatever that is, turn to love or turn to abundance or tuned to health or whatever. So anyway, so this week, will you just for this week, Just put on hold. Anytime you feel that dynamic tension and you feel like you want to give up, will you hang back and not? And take for inspiration both of those movies. Because I really feel like they both emphasize the same thing. And that is sticking in there and knowing that, having the faith that God will deliver and that God's answer is always yes. Will you do that with me this week? Let's have a prayer. So right now, I just tune my awareness to the infinite power, the infinite presence of God. To that place within me that knows beyond human understanding just how powerful God is. For God is simply all there is, all there ever has been, all there ever will be, and all there is right here, right now. And that is where I find myself, in the midst of God, my very essence, my very life, my very being. It is who and what I am. And every thought, every action, every deed is guided and led by that ancient wisdom of the ages that lives within me, that flows within me. That is where I find myself. That's where I find this team that God has created in the midst of God. God has provided me the most wonderful people, wonderful human doings, having this spiritual experience with me. For Faith, for Oz, for Lynn, for Tina, and for Karen. I know that God flows through them as much as it does me. That every thought, every action, every deed is guided and led by that same ancient wisdom of the ages that is God flowing through. I know the same truth for every name that is in the ministry of prayer, or everybody watching here, whether that's in real time or later on. For we are all one. There's no place where one leaves off and the other begins. There is only God flowing through each of us. Mitaku Yasin, all my brethren, we are all one. One power, one presence, one life. Only one. So this coming week, as we begin to understand the dynamic tension that happens in the creative process, and understand our need to stay in alignment with the vibration of that which we wish to manifest, that we relax and allow, return back to happiness, let ourselves feel the truth, instead of the condition. I know that for each of us, for this coming week, that we begin to experience what it means to not give up 5 minutes before the miracle, and begin to see those miracles as they manifest. This is the week, the only week that matters. So I know that same truth to be so for every name that is in the ministry of prayer today. For whatever conditions they are experiencing, God is the power underneath, behind, whatever that condition is. And I just pull it forward. I reveal it. I pull back the veil, reveal it through to this reality, here and now, as the truth for them. And with that being said, I declare it as good and very good. My heart fills with gratitude to know that this is so. To be of service in this way. And I just let it be. And so it is. Amen. All right, now is the time for our opportunity to receive your gifts, tithes, and offerings, and your opportunity to express gratitude for that which you have already received in the physical reality, that which you've already made manifest, and that which you have probably created in the mind of God already, but may not have seen yet in the physical realm. So in a minute, I'm going to ask you to go with me to www.oasiscsl.org, whether you're viewing this in real time or later on. And about 2/3 down the page is an offering affirmation that I'd like you to say with me. And then there's a contribute now button right directly under that. So I want to talk about contributions here just for a moment, because we're not in a facility. So you're not paying for rent. You're not paying for minister salaries. You're not paying for utilities. You're not paying for any of that stuff. What you're doing is you're contributing to the message, God's message getting out into the world. Like we already have people from the UK and Germany and Holland that are tuning into our service. But we would like to be completely global because I want God's message to uplift and inspire each person in the world. I know that's a big vision, but that is our vision. And so what you're contributing to is the marketing and the time it takes to get that done. So think of it this way. You're contributing to people being uplifted and inspired by God's message that comes through us. So anyway, right now, whether you're watching in real time or later on, please go with me to www.oasiscsl.org. And about 2/3 down the page, please say the offering affirmation with me. This perfect gift is spirit in form, circulating and blessing all it touches. Freely I give and joyously I receive. And so it is. Press that contribute now button and let's get this party started. Let's get this message out into the world. I just love that we have that ability or that opportunity to do that. All right, we have this wonderful team of licensed practitioners from coast to coast who pray on our prayer requests every day for a week. They are, we call them our God Squad, and they are the healing arm of the church. And so what I like to say is practitioners are able to know the truth for you until you can see the truth for yourself. And that's the spiritual truth. I said that to somebody one time about truth, and she freaked out on me. You don't know the truth about me. And I was like, well, no, but I know the spiritual truth, and that is the most important truth. It doesn't matter what the other truths are. Only that spiritual truth. And that's what our licensed practitioners do. So if you would like to receive prayer for something, you want to type it into the comments section, or if you don't want it to be public, you can always DM Faith, and she will make sure that it gets onto the private facing group page of our God Squad. They're the only ones that can see it. And if you would like to be part of the God Squad and you are not yet a licensed practitioner or not even thinking about being a licensed practitioner, and you are willing to do affirmative prayer, no beseeching, no asking, if you are willing to do that prayer every day for a week and follow through with that, and if you're willing to keep those requests confidential, meaning no spouses, no partners, no kids, no mothers, we don't tell anybody. It stays in here once you see it. If you're willing to agree to all of those terms and you're not a licensed practitioner, you can be a member of the God Squad. So for that purpose only. So type yes in the comment section, and Faith will add you as a God Squad member to that private facing group page on Facebook. If you would like to be part of our online community and receive information about things we're doing before everyone else gets it, type more in the comment section, and she will add you to our public facing group page on Facebook. And that is our online community right now. Okay. So our license practice. So let me just say real quickly, Oz will be available at the end for our 1 minute miracle. It's not a time for counseling, but it is a time where you can share whatever you're experiencing with him, and he will stop, drop, and pray with you right then and there. And you reach out to him through video chat. If he doesn't answer right away, just assume that he's on the line with someone else and call back later. Also, our licensed practitioners are available by appointment for a fee for spiritual guidance. And I don't get involved in how they receive that fee. Some of them use Venmo, some of them use Wise, some of them use Cash App, PayPal. I don't get involved in any of that. They're a separate business on their own. And so you contact them, let them know you would like to have a session, and they will tell you how to pay for it. And then they'll set up an appointment, and they will reach out to you by video chat at the appointed time. All right. Miss Faith. Oh, wait, before I do that. Brooks and Bailey. I'm getting confused all of a sudden. This is a mala bead necklace from Brooks and Bailey. This one is amethyst, and it's $60, but they do have from $30 up. And all of the proceeds go to Rocky Mountain Lab Rescue. You can contact them through Brooks and Bailey 0307 at Gmail or by their Facebook page. I do try to repost any events that they are. I share some of the events that they are doing when they have pop-up shops. So you can also reach out to them from there. But anyway, definitely support them. They're good ladies, and they do beautiful work. I like mala beads because there's 108 beads on a necklace, and the Buddhists and the Hindus use it for their mantras. You take one bead at a time and do a mantra, and then you count off, and you know how many you've done. I like them to do affirmations because my thing is do 100 affirmations a day. So this is a perfect necklace for that. The bracelets have 54. So you just have to use it twice in one day. Anyway. All right, Faith, now I'm ready for you.
And please check out my metaphysical shop. The website no longer works, but you guys can order through Instagram and Facebook. So please check that out. We have intention jars for whatever you are currently working on or manifesting, as well as bath salts that have herbs and essential oils to help bring to you whatever you are currently working on. So please check that out and follow us for any upcoming events. I'm hoping to be able to start more of that soon towards the December, once my life has kind of settled out a little bit. So please check that out so that you are in the loop for all the good stuff to come.
Okay, cool. This is one of the jars she made me. This one's for prosperity, and you can see the candle waxes actually starting to come off because I've used it so much. I've handled it so much. Great way to focus your intention and your attention. We also have an adjunct company. Angel Renee has an Etsy website where she sells intention candles and tea bags that you can put in your bath with the herbs that she uses. It helps you, they're clarity herbs, so it helps you focus on your intention. So, all right. We already did that. Yes, Elaine Silver. Thank you. Faith puts it up there. I'm like, yeah. Reverend Fairy Elaine Silver has a website where you can buy her CDs. However, she has not been able to update it. Something's wrong with the website. And so she can't tell you how to pay her. She travels around the country singing, and she carries those CDs around in the back of her trunk. So go onto the website, see what CD you would like, and then contact her. She's very good at telling you how to pay and sending those to you. So do that. All right. And then Karen Drucker's website. You can purchase them right off the website. She does have a way to pay her there. And she has, you can buy it by the song, by the CD, songbook, whatever you want. So definitely check. I like to support those who support us. And both of these ladies have supported us with music, because Facebook will mute us if we use any popular music. So we're blessed to have them. We're able to actually do a service and not just me talking. I mean, I like to talk, but I think people like the music too. And then check out our website at www.oasiscsl.org. There you'll find sermons, the video sermons from the last 3 years, the audio sermons from years prior. Check us out also on YouTube and SoundCloud under S. Tucker. YouTube has the videos and SoundCloud has the audio files. So we are going to move into our closing song right now. See you on the flip side here.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
And I know the blessings of God extend today and always for each and every one of us. That God has our back, our front, our top, our bottom, our inside, and our outside. It's all one in God, and God is unfolding as we speak. I know this is good and very good, and I allow it to be so, and so it is.
And so it is.
So it
Thank
is.
you, Oz. Thank you, Faith, for being here. Thank all of you for being here. We couldn't do this without any of you. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Join us next week at 10:30 a.m. Mountain Time, and every Sunday we're here for you. We love you. Stay safe. Wear a mask, and bye until next week.